Jim, this is Ed from Michigan. I have a question regarding UTMA accounts for my child. Every Christmas, my daughter is gifted $15,000 from her grandfather. She is currently 8 years old and has received this gift every year since she has been 1. My question is, am I prudent in having invested this money via a UTMA account for her in total market index funds? Or should I have instead simply invested via a plain old taxable account in the same index fund investments, and then gift those appreciated shares to her under the annual federal gift tax exclusion limits when she is in her late 20s and early 30s? So far, at the age of 8, I don't foresee her using the money on cocaine, but sometimes life happens. What are your thoughts? Are the tax savings via the UTMA account ultimately substantial enough to compensate for the loss of control at the age of majority? Thank you for all that you do.
All right, UTMA accounts. Your daughter's getting $15,000 a year from grandpa. Awesome grandpa, man. Isn't that awesome? How wonderful for her. So should you leave it in a UTMA or should you put it in a taxable account? Well, unless the money's coming to you, it's your daughter's money. So you can't take it. Certainly not ethically and probably not legally. So if you want to do something different than putting it in a UTMA account, I think you need to talk to grandpa about it. There are certainly downsides to you owning the money, to you putting it in your taxable account. Okay, number one, it's going to be subject to your creditors, right? A lot of docs are worried about asset protection, being sued above policy limits. That's a really rare event, but it's not a zero event. And so why expose that money to that if you don't have to? The second issue is it's also subject to your tax rates. If that money's in a UTMA, at least up to the limits of the kiddie tax, basically it's being taxed at your kids' tax rates. So the first, I think it's $1,100 or so is not taxed at all in unearned income. The next $1,100 is taxed at 10%. And then after that, it gets taxed at your tax rates. But if it's in your taxable account instead of their UTMA, it's all taxed at your tax rates. So there's some pretty significant downsides, I think, to you owning the money. I mean, the big concern that people have with the UTMA is it becomes the kids' money at age 18 or age 21 or whatever it is. So you're worried they're going to go out and blow it on hookers and cocaine, right? So if you're really worried about that, instead of a UTMA, what you should do is have grandpa fund a trust, like a spendthrift trust, instead of just sending a check. You might also want to put some of that money in a 529, right? If you know this money's going toward college or going toward professional school or something, put it in a 529. But I don't think putting it in your taxable account is really accomplishing what grandpa is trying to do, which is give the money to your kiddo. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.